Hello, I'm Gazanfer in London, and this is My World from the BBC, your weekly guide to the world around you. So first up, do you sometimes feel like the air you're breathing is making you ill? Well, you may not be alone. Polluted air is a massive problem around the world. Here is Joyce with the details.
Every day across the world, 93% of children under the age of 15 breathe in air that's so polluted it could put their health in danger. It could even stop them from growing properly. Every year, 7 million people in the world die because of air pollution. Children are more affected by toxic air than anyone else because they breathe in more air than adults. This is because their bodies are still small and their organs are not yet fully developed. The most damaging kind of air pollution isn't always easy to see. That's because it's made up of microscopic particles which are 20 times smaller than a grain of sand. Road traffic like the cars, buses, vans and trucks that you see in most cities cause lots of pollution. But what is it actually made of? Well, it's mainly a nasty smelling gas called nitrogen dioxide and tiny bits from exhaust fumes and tyres. Air pollution in London has gotten so bad that the city's elected mayor has introduced an ultra-low emission zone to limit traffic on the streets. But school children here in London are campaigning for more action to keep them safe. Hadil lives in one of the most polluted areas in the city. She told our reporter Whitney what she wants to see.
Air pollution isn't always easy to see. It's caused by burning fossil fuels, things like coal and oil that we use to make heat, electricity, and to fuel cars and lorries. Hadil goes to a school in a part of London with one of the highest levels of air pollution in the country.
This road is really busy with trucks, vans, cars, buses, you name it.
Using this special camera, we can see some of the harmful gases in the air. Look as it drives off and look at the cars next to it as well. And when you put it in normal mode,
nothing.
You can't see anything. But what are we actually looking at? This lab measures quality of air from all over the UK.
Hi David, we've been taking a look at the exhausts of cars. Can you tell us what this means and is it really harmful?
Well, I can see here that you've got pollution coming out of the exhausts of vehicles. That's mainly going to be nitrogen dioxide and very small particles, both of which can be damaging for your health. It's not a worry for most of us who are healthy, but if you have an existing problem with your breathing, like many old people do, or if you have asthma, then both of those things can be affected by air pollution.
The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, says the problem is unacceptable and has promised to help get pollution levels down to the World Health Organization standards by 2030. But Hadil wants more done more quickly.
I'm writing this letter to the London Mayor Sadiq Khan to tell him how unhappy I am about the air pollution in London. I wrote 2 proposals. The first one is to see more electric cars on the road, and the second one is to get factories to stop using harmful chemicals.
She's sending it to City Hall, where the Mayor of London works. Newsround contacted Sadiq Khan about Hadil's concerns, and his office told us that the Mayor is doing everything in his power to tackle London's toxic air, creating 12 low-emission bus zones, phasing out diesel taxis, checking the quality of air around schools, and alerting people when air quality falls below a certain standard. They say the Mayor now wants the government to introduce a special fund to help people replace high-emission vehicles. The government has promised to give £3.5 billion to help improve air quality. It plans to end the sale of diesel and petrol cars and vans by 2040 and is publishing a clean air strategy, setting out further steps to tackle air pollution.
And if you think air quality problems are troubling in London, let's find out what it's like in the rest of the world. Air quality is most toxic in Asia, South America and Africa. Here's Debola from the Nigerian city of Lagos.
West Africa Africa is home to some of the most polluted cities on the continent. The air people breathe in Nigeria is more likely to cause harm than the air in any other country in Africa. Nigeria currently has the highest number of fatalities from air pollution in Africa and the 4th highest in the world. But dirty air is not unique to Nigeria. One of West Africa's most polluted cities is Dakar, the capital city of Senegal, where more and more children are suffering from illnesses like asthma. Dakar is one of the only cities in Africa which measures its air quality every day, so many other cities could have even higher level of toxic air. The capital of Senegal is particularly affected during the dry season when dusty winds from the Sahara blows in and mixes with the city's pollution. Our reporter Louis De West has this report for My World.
2-year-old Tai suffers from asthma. This is a condition that affects the airways to the lungs. It's made worse by air pollution. Next to her is 9-year-old Muhammad, who is also asthmatic. Muhammad is with his mother to see a doctor.
I was playing football and running a lot. There was a lot of dust and I had an asthma attack. That night I couldn't breathe well. I was wheezing.
It's a nightmare. It's really scary when I hear my son gasp, when he struggles to breathe. It's just scary.
Professor Idrissa Ba is one of the few experts here who specializes in conditions affecting breathing. Dr. Ba has worked at the hospital for 15 years. He says the situation is really bad.
Every day we have more patients. Every day we have cases with asthma attacks, on average 5 up to 6 a day. Before, it was not like that. We are seeing with our statistics that the numbers are really increasing, and we believe it's linked to air pollution, well, to air quality, which is very bad.
And he's right. Several times a year, Dakar gets covered in dust. That's natural pollution, which can cause the air to exceed by 7 times the level of small particles recommended by the World Health Organization. There are also harmful fumes, mainly from cars. Scientists say that in countries like Senegal, air pollution causes more than half of the cases of breathing problems in children under 5.
One of the problems here is that cars are often old and second-hand, meaning they pollute more. This taxi, for example, is 37 years old. The other problem is that fuel and gasoline imported and used here have much higher levels of sulfur than in Europe or in the United States, meaning that cars here emit more of a toxic gas considered a major pollutant.
The government is taking steps to try and improve the situation. They have limited taxi licenses to reduce the number of old cars. They also plan to lower the levels of sulfur in fuels by the end of the year. Senegal is one of the only countries in Africa that monitors and publishes the quality of its air daily. When they estimate that the air is really bad, they send out alerts to residents to stay indoors. Compiling this data is an important first step, but it's too soon to know if it will make a difference. Meanwhile, doctors will continue to treat children and give them medicines to help them breathe.
So what exactly does pollution do to our bodies? Here's BBC's science correspondent David Shukman to explain.
Air pollution. What exactly is it and how bad is it for me? Well, much of it comes from traffic, nitrogen dioxide and tiny particles from exhaust fumes and tyres.
You can't actually see some of the most damaging pollution. It's called PM 2.5 and involves particles that are microscopically small. So let's use virtual reality to visualize them. They're less than 2.5 microns across, which means you could fit 400 in a single millimetre. By comparison, a grain of sand is 20 times larger. Now, this matters because the particles are small enough not just to get into the lungs, but also into the bloodstream.
The largest particles get caught in the nose, but the very smallest can pass through nerves into the brain. And it's possible, but not confirmed, that they can cause what are called plaques, breaking the connection between brain cells, leading to dementia, though this isn't proven. UK scientists estimate that air pollution shortens British lives by an average of 6 months. It's linked to heart attacks and respiratory conditions like asthma. And evidence is growing that it can limit the growth of children's lungs. The more researchers investigate, the more worried they become.
That's all for this week, but we are back again, same time, next Saturday. See you then.